Hello my friends and welcome back to another Super Mario Maker 2 video. Last week we had a Super Mario Maker 2 Direct that aired from Nintendo, giving us 15 minutes of Mario Maker goodness of things that we did not yet know about. So in this video, I'm going to point out all the things that I saw that were new that we did not know before. And if you guys like this video, please remember to drop a like, it really helps me out. And don't forget, if you have not already, please consider subscribing to my channel for you can see more Super Mario Maker content in the future. And without further ado, let's talk about all the things that I saw that were new in Super Mario Maker 2 Direct. Let's go!
Here we go!
Alright, so I'm just gonna go kind of in order here of all the things that I saw that were new. And right off the bat, a little ways into it, the first thing that I noticed that was new, that we have course ID is now only 9 digits instead of the usual 12, which will help alleviate some of the issues that we had with typing them out. And then if you look right below it, we do need the online membership in order to play this game, which is no surprise because in order to post online and play other people's levels online, you're going to need this Switch Online membership. So, I mean, really, that was kind of a given at this point, so no one should really be surprised about that. But it was not confirmed before, so that's why I'm pointing it out in this video. In the next screenshot here, it's a little thing, but we saw people cheering sound effect in the background, which is kind of cool. I can already see where I can use that for in my levels. And something that's kind of not so obvious is that now it looks like we can place blocks in front of blocks, because before in Mario Maker 1, you could not put any blocks on top of any kind of terrain. You had to either put it next to it or kind of like on top of it. But in this video, it looks like those fire bars are indeed woven within of the background, which is kind of gives us more options and possibilities of how we can create levels. That's definitely a nice addition to the game. So I'm really excited for that. In this screenshot here, it looks like now that we can have new trees besides the bell trees that we saw in the new Super Mario Bros. 3D World style. On the screenshot with the tank, it looks like we have something that Nintendo did not yet state in the Direct, but we definitely did notice it. And so we have the addition of the small pipes that typically were used for the mini mushroom in previous games. And in the one off the right, it looks like you can even slope the pipes as well, which would be kind of interesting to have slope pipes in the game. And also, what the tank is made out of is a blue background that I am not entirely sure what exactly that is. It looks like it's a whole new background. I'm not really sure. I have not seen this anywhere else in this trailer. In this segment here, in the first Mario Maker game, the terrain that you start on that has a sign on it was always separated from the editing terrain that you put down. So there was always a line going down and it looks really bad. And it looks like this time they heard our pleas that we did not like that, so now it's all interconnected into the same ground, which is a nice touch. And when you make the ground, there are different ground pieces like bushes and stuff that pop up when you make the terrain, which is also, again, a nice little touch that they didn't have to technically update, but it's nice that it's there. And I don't know if any of you guys noticed, when I originally watched this trailer, I was so excited that I didn't really notice this until I went back and watched it. The original Super Mario Maker, when you placed an item inside of a question block or any kind of block, the whole entire block in editor mode filled up with a giant red exclamation point. And I noticed in this, when they did that, the exclamation point was moved to the bottom right corner of the box, which kind of indicates to me, which we will get to later in the trailer, that now they did that for the addition of multiplayer in the game. So I'm guessing now you can put up to 4 items inside those blocks and it'll fill up each of the corners and probably with a different color exclamation point, which is also a nice touch. So I know in the first game, like you can combine a fire flower with a mushroom. So like if you were small, you would get a mushroom, but if you were Super Mario, you would get the fire flower. But now they have to accommodate for 3 more players in the game, so now you can put up to 4 items inside a question block, which is a nice little addition. So you can put 4 different items, or 4 of the same items, probably whatever the heck you want. I'm not even sure if you can even combine it with an enemy or not. That'd be kind of cool that, you know, maybe you put 1 mushroom in there and then you have 3 other enemies in there. So you never know. You know, you're kind of fighting to get the power up, but you never know what you might hit, and you might get hit by enemies. Yeah, in this part of the screenshot, when they put the chain shop inside the brick, it does the same exact thing. So yeah, it looks like you can probably mix and match enemies and items, which would be really fun to do. So I can't wait for that. Right here, when they're selecting a Goomba, you can see the first appearance of the Galoomba, I believe it's called, from Super Mario 3D World. And they're basically the same as Goombas, except they have little masks and they don't walk off the edge like Goombas. So basically, they're the same as the red Koopa Troopa are. So that's nice that they're in this game as well. Just like we saw in the original trailer, this is not something new, but we see more screenshots of them creating slopes and what kind of slopes there are. So like again, that was nothing new, but I just wanted to point it out. We get another look at the Angry Song, which was also revealed at the original trailer, but now we kind of see him in motion and how he works, and he works exactly like he did in Super Mario Bros. 3. And again, we get another look at the snake block, and this time in the original Mario Brothers theme, and you can draw in any direction and they will follow the path. I'm not sure how long the path can be. I'm guessing it's probably infinite, as many as you want. Also, they pointed out that there are not only are green ones, but there are blue ones that go a little bit faster. So we have an addition of faster snake blocks. We get another look at the on and off switches. I'm using them for puzzles, which is kind of a cool thing to do. And you can also see that on-off switches not only changes the blocks, but also changes the conveyors, and also can change the direction of the rails, which is also a nice touch. And we'll see later in the trailer that there's even more options for the on and off switches as well. Then we get another look at the seesaw in action. We had a little tiny blurb of it in the original trailer, but this one goes a little bit more extended. It looks like you can have shorter and longer versions of it, and it adjusts with Mario's weight. And also, if enemies drop on the seesaw, it will also tilt, and whatever side has the most weight on it, you can make some really good levels with those as well. We get our first look at the swinging claw. It kind of looks like one of the vines that you can swing from in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but you can swing, you can grab Mario, you can swing from claw to claw and to reach certain areas in the level. So you can have like a floor is lava kind of level and just swing with the claws, and you can also use them as a crane game. You can pick up enemies, drop them. You can also pick up items, I believe, like super mushrooms and stuff. So I'm interested to see what people will make with these, and I'm going to be interested to see what I can make with these claws. But yeah, it's a nice little addition, and I'm glad it's here. And we get a first look at the water level. Now, the only thing that's a kind of a bummer with the water, it's only in the forest theme, but our hopes and dreams were confirmed. You can raise the water level as high or as low as you want, and not only can you raise and lower it, but you can also have it for it goes up and down at 3 different speeds to your liking as well. So you can have a crazy level where the water keeps going up and then goes down and it reveals more of the level, and maybe you have to get things a lot faster or whatever. I'm not sure if it can go all the way up through the level and to become like an actual water level. I'm guessing maybe only halfway high is as high as you can go. It doesn't look like there's no limits. Maybe you can put it all the way to the top, maybe have the entire level underwater, and then maybe slowly as you progress through the level, the water will go down all the way to the bottom. That'd be kind of a cool little puzzle level with water. I definitely wanted these back in the original Mario Maker, so I'm super excited to use them in my levels as well. And also in the castle theme, along with the water, you can raise and lower, do the exact same thing to the lava, which is gonna be fun. And as we predicted with the custom scroll, you can do the same thing as you do with water, but what's kind of exciting is that you can adjust the scroll any way you like and throughout the entire level, and you can also adjust the speeds at different intervals, and you can have it slow in one spot and fast in another, and then go back to slow again, and you can have it go up and down. You can go straight across. You can have it basically any way you want. I originally thought it can only be on an auto scroll level, and you can just only control the going up and down, but it looks like there's a lot more that you can do with it, which is nice. So like basically this is fully customizable custom scroll in this game, so that's really exciting. Finally, have confirmation you can make vertical levels in the game. You can only make them in the sub areas, but you know what, that's better than nothing. I'm happy with that, so I'm just glad it's here. If you're worried that you're gonna have party level exposed from the scrolling, or you just want to stop scrolling completely, you can do what they call the scroll stop, where you have to create ground or a wall or bricks or something that is perpendicular to where the scrolling is. So if you're scrolling left to right, you have to put a wall that's up and down, and I'm guessing if you're going vertical and you want it to stop, then you have to do it horizontally. We get another look at the Bonsai Bill. You can have them going in 4 different directions. You can just go up, down, left, or right, and also they decided to add homing Bonsai Bills too, which is yeah, we won't talk about that. Moving on. And the next one is a huge surprise, I'm sure, to everybody, including myself, that they added a brand new item to Super Mario Maker called the Dry Bone Shell. In the first game, you can put shells on your head, but this one instead of putting the shell on your head, you sit in the shell and you're completely immune to the lava in castle levels. And you can even do something that's even cooler. You can turn yourself invincible temporarily by crushing yourself, kind of like what the dry bones do when you step on them. So it's kind of gets you a nice little throwback to Super Mario Bros. 3, where they have, I believe, the Tanuki statue. So I'm guessing this works the same way. Probably if you press down, it will crush itself. And I'm wondering if you do hit an enemy with this shell, do you lose it like you do the hat? It's a really fun addition, and I'm happy that they added it to the game. And we have the inclusion of the big coins. We knew in the last trailer that there was a 10 coin, but they did not stop right there. Oh no. They decided to not only add a 10 coin, but a 30 and 50 coin along with it. So it looks like every single item in the game is going to have an alternative, because if you look in the sub menu for the 10 coins, you see the 30 and 50 as well. And I think that's the only ones that they're going to have, which is fine. But it will make levels that you have to collect coins in kind of easier or harder depending on what the challenge is. So I'm okay with it. It's not a huge addition, but it's nice that they're there. And we see that we have a new inclusion of sound effects. All the sound effects from the previous game are returning, plus new ones that they added for this game. I personally love the sinister sound effect.
Or perhaps go with something more sinister.
The next thing is something that's very exciting that we all wanted from the very first game. Now we have the ability to make co-op levels with a friend. As long as we have the same Switch, we each take a Joy-Con sideways and we create levels together. Now, I'm not sure if that's how easy or difficult it's going to be. Because you're on the same screen, you're going to have to work in the same screen. So it's unfortunate that you can't do it with two different Switches, where you can maybe work on different parts of the level at the same time and kind of meet in the middle or something. And playing with the Joy-Con sideways is going to be a little bit on the difficult side. But you know what? It's fine that it's there. I will look forward to making some levels with my son. And another exciting addition, something that we speculated in the last trailer and is now confirmed, are clear conditions. And as you see from the screen here, there are a variety of different clear conditions, like reaching the goal after grabbing so many coins, and you can adjust the coin levels, but it looks like it only goes so high. Like defeat all the enemies in the given amount of time, and you can see at the end there where he defeats all the dry bones, that once he defeats all 6 dry bones, the flag that was invisible is now visible and you're able to clear it. So what I'm guessing is that you have to clear the condition first before you can go to the exit. Otherwise, you won't be able to. This is either going to be a really good thing or a really bad thing, depending on how people utilize this. I can see this making levels a lot more fun, and you can have leaderboards to see who can do it the fastest. But the problem that I see is people are going to, like, say, if you have to collect 100 coins on a level, people are going to put exactly 100 coins. And if you missed one coin in the level, you have to go around and finding it and waste a lot of time. So I can see some levels being kind of frustrating by this, but definitely I see more good than I see bad from this, and hopefully people are fair when they make these clear conditions in levels. And we gotta look at different types of clear conditions besides those two. We also have reach the goal of Super Mario, and reach the goal without taking damage, reach the goal without landing after leaving the ground. That's a very interesting one. Reach the goal after defeating one Hammer Brother, reach the goal after picking up all the 1-up mushrooms. Another problem I see as well is if you hide one of these in like a random block anywhere in the level, and you have to go find it, that can also be kind of frustrating too. So I'm wondering how Nintendo is going to work around that, because they know some people are going to kind of be unfair with these clear conditions. Like they have to be in sight at all times. Maybe you can't hide them in blocks. Like the ones that are hiding in blocks maybe won't count or something. So I'm curious to see how Nintendo works that all out. And that's one of the major concerns of these clear conditions for me. And then you can reach the goal without after defeating all the munchers and different types of enemies. Another interesting thing that I saw in this trailer, when Mario touches the twisters themselves, the little enemy at the bottom does not hurt Mario, so they're almost kind of like invisible or in the background. So the little bubbles that they're blowing will affect Mario and other enemies, but Mario will not take damage from touching them. So that's really cool. And then we have the inclusion of the icicle that I pointed out in one of the screenshots, and they in fact work like they do in previous games, where they hang from the ceiling, and as soon as Mario goes below them, they will drop. And I think it would also be kind of cool is if you can add a big mushroom to them to turn them huge like they were in Super Mario Bros. U. I was kind of worried that they could only be in the snow theme. Later in the trailer, you'll see that you can put icicles in any of the themes, not just snow theme. So it'd be kind of cool to have like icicles in like a lava level and kind of do your own like fire and ice level. So that's really cool that they're not just restricted to the snow theme itself. In the next screenshot we see, so in addition to having slopes, you can now have diagonal conveyor belts as well. So that's a nice little addition. In the first game, you can ride a Yoshi, and if you added a fire fire flower to Yoshi, you can make him breathe fire. Now they decided just to completely change Yoshi, so now you have the green one or a red one, and the red one just spits fire. So now you don't have to be Super Mario, or you don't have to eat a fireball to shoot fireballs back. In the screenshot where they show all the parachutes, you see one of the enemies that we have not seen yet, which you see the dry fish. Now, in the first Mario game, when you dropped the dry bones into the water, it turned into a dry fish, but we saw a screenshot with dry bones that were underwater, and now we have dry fish that are not in the water, so now they are two completely separate characters, and you can put them anywhere in your level, so that's kind of cool that you can do that. So maybe you can have like flying like dead fish everywhere in a level, so that's pretty cool. And we also see addition of Boom Boom, which we already knew about, but we kind of see him in action a little bit, and he acts exactly like he does, where he swings his arms and legs. Another very exciting part of the trailer was the inclusion of story mode. And what was very interesting about story mode, it's kind of like a 3D render of Mario Maker, which is kind of interesting because Mario Maker itself is all 2D based. But yeah, all the characters and the castle and everything, even Mario himself, is on a kind of a 3D plane. And so I'm wondering if maybe he can move more than just 2D in this mode. But a couple of things that I've noticed that I wanted to point out that were new, besides story mode itself, is that this is basically Nintendo's version of the courses that Nintendo made from the first game. We have 100 plus courses. Instead of just giving you the courses they built, they made it into a full-fledged story mode, which makes it a little more interesting. You used coins to rebuild the castle, and they show the erase dog in this trailer as well. And I'm just wondering, could the dog be the villain? Maybe the undo dog, or maybe the eraser guy erased the castle, and the undo dog is refusing to undo the destruction of the castle, so they have to rebuild it from scratch. And that's kind of interesting. And we also notice the different levels that are available to them. They go from 1 to 5 star and start off with 100, and every time the star difficulty goes up, it increases the coin count that you have to pay by 50. So it looks like 5 star would be 250 coins. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, what's Nintendo's version of different difficulty levels, and what is their most difficult level that they created. So I'm really interested to see what Nintendo creates from all these assets from Super Mario Maker. In the screenshot where you see the 100 courses, I noticed very slightly that there are these vine-looking platforms. I'm wondering if they're just a variation of a platform that you can build, or are they vines that you can climb on? We don't have confirmation of either yet, but I just noticed it in that screen, so I just wanted to point it out for this video. In the part where Mario is climbing different kind of vines, we get our first look at the thwomps. Not only will go up and down and drop on you, but we can also have sideways thwomps, which are a very interesting addition to the game. Something I didn't think about that they would add. So now you can have a level with not only thwomps that drop on you, but thwomps that kind of like could push you off the ledge, or maybe like you see a thwomp and maybe you have to run as quickly as you can to the other side before the thwomp hits you and knocks you off and damages you. So that's a really cool addition to see. I love when they go sideways. They instead of just moving sideways, they're kind of tilted to the background, so it kind of gives them more of a 3D look to them. And now we get to different themes that are new for Super Mario Maker 2. We get our first look at the desert theme from Super Mario Bros. 1, snow theme from Super Mario Bros. 3, forest theme from Super Mario World, and we get the skies theme from Super Mario Bros. 1. I'm interested to see what all these styles look like in all the different games. And along with all the 4 new themes, we also get new music from the original composer that did the original games back in the day. So it's really cool that they brought him back and made his new compositions for these, and they sound great. I also noticed while he's in the sky theme that when he hits the checkpoint flag, Mario no longer turns into Super Mario and no longer gets big. And they figure if you do want to make Mario big, just put a question block with a mushroom above the flag to give you that option as well. It was a nice little change that the game needed. So we got 4 new themes, but Nintendo could have stopped there, but they did not. Oh no. Not only did we get 4 new themes, now we have the addition of what they call the moon. Now, what you can do is you click on the sun icon, you change it to the moon, and it turns all the levels into night levels. So instead of having the angry sun make Mario lose his life, the moon comes down and basically crushes all the enemies on the screen at once. And you can use that maybe strategically in your levels if you have the moon. Not only does the moon act differently, Nintendo decided if you use the nighttime feature in all the themes, that it also changes the properties as well. In the nighttime ground theme, all the Goombas and enemies will be floating through the air. When you use the Underground Night feature, it turns the entire level upside down. So how I'm guessing this is going to work is that you're going to create the level, and when you just play at night, it's just going to flip-flop it. So you don't have to create the level upside down or anything, but you're going to have to try to create the level based around it being upside down. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work as well. When you use the ghost house at night, it turns all the lights off and only has the light around enemies and or Mario, so it makes your visibility a lot less. And I can see a lot of really terrible levels with that feature. And during the sky night portion, it turns the gravity like you're in outer space, so all the enemies and Mario can jump high and kind of fall kind of slow. So it's almost like you're on the moon, which is really cool. In the desert at night, it turns it into a sandstorm where it blows against Mario, but it does not blow the coin at the very top there, so it doesn't like move coins and enemies in the level. It just affects Mario himself. In the snow at night, it turns the entire terrain to ice, so that way Mario slides on everything. So I'm wondering, during the day, the snow theme is just like a background theme and it doesn't really affect the sliding ability of Mario. So they have the option, if you want ice on everything, you just turn it to snow at night. And then finally we have the forest at night, and it turns all the water that you add in the level into acid. And I'm guessing just like the water in lava, you can also raise and lower the acid or poison at different levels and at different variables as well. And they didn't stop there yet again. We have confirmation that items will also be affected at night. We don't know how it's going to affect certain items, but we see here that a 1-up mushroom turns into what they call a rotten mushroom, and I'm guessing it's going to have the same kind of properties as a poison mushroom, where if Mario touches it, he will lose a life. And they also pointed out that once you use this night feature and you put the moon in the level, you no longer have to have the actual moon in the level, so you can just make nighttime and daytime whenever you please, which is also really nice, that you don't have to have like the angry moon or the angry sun or the moon coming down in your levels to interrupt the fun, to interrupt the gameplay as well. And finally we get to the 3D world theme. And just as we thought it would be, because the style is so different, they have it separated from the other game styles. So the Super Mario Brothers 1, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, and Super Mario Brothers U, they're all interchangeable within one another. But if you switch it to the Super Mario 3D World style, it will erase everything that you built in that world. So if you want to build it in Super Mario 3D World, make sure you choose that option first, for it doesn't erase everything you did. But what's interesting to point out is that it said extra game styles, and there was an empty space next to it, which indicates that we might have either DLC or another style unveiled at E3. I'm guessing it's probably going to be E3, but that's kind of exciting that we're going to get more than just one new game style for this game. And when they show off the items wheel again, we knew what they were all called except for the key icon at the end, and we found out in this trailer that is going to be called gizmos, and it's basically where all the oddities go into it, like the blocks and the keys and the flags and things that just don't fit in the other categories are located now in the gizmos category. And then we get to the inclusion of Catmori yet again, and we see that he has all his moves that were from Super Mario 3D World in Super Mario Maker, which is a nice touch. And you can also climb not only on the side walls, but on the back walls. So you see him climbing that palm tree to the clouds above, which is really, really cool. So it gives it more of a 3D feel to the theme as well. I also noticed that there are different colored piranha plants. So if it's a regular piranha plant, it's red, but if it's a colored piranha plant, it's a little darker with red spots. So it's so you can definitely tell a difference between a fire piranha plant and a regular piranha plant. Because in the first game they were all just one color. So it's nice that they kind of give you a little variation of what they are. Then we get to the clear pipes, and we see that you can draw them in any shape and size, and you can have as many as you want, and you can have them as big and small as you want. The only thing you cannot do like you could in Super Mario 3D World is you can't combine two different pipes that go in different directions from the same pipe. If you want it to go different directions, you have to have it as two completely separate pipes. Now you can maybe interchange them a little bit, where you can have one long one and then kind of drop you off in one spot and then immediately put you in another spot. You just can't do it all in one pipe like we thought they could. So So that's a little unfortunate, but I understand why it is the way it is. And we also see that enemies can also use it. You see a very large Goomba go into the pipe that's a lot smaller, and he kind of shrinks a little bit when he goes into the pipe. So it's kind of funny that even when you have bigger enemies, no matter how big they are, they will still fit in those clear pipes. We also get to look at the crates that were also from Super Mario 3D World. You can see here Mario can ground pound them, and they can break really easy, just like they do in that game. And I'm guessing enemies can break them really easy too, but not only are they there just for looks and just like a weird obstacle you can destroy, you can also pick them up and throw them into water and lava to create little bridges. So you can have a little puzzle where you have a bunch of crates there and you have to kind of get to the other side, kind of like what you do with in Zelda games and other games where you have to kind of create a bridge, and maybe you have to create it before like an enemy or something destroys those boxes. And I'm wondering too, if you need those boxes to get to part of another level, how is that going to work if you destroy them? Now, would that level be completely unplayable? I mean, I guess it's up to the creator to decide how to get around that if someone accidentally breaks all those crates, or maybe they respawn after so long. We do not know yet. All we know is that you can pick them up, throw them, use them as a bridge on water and on lava, but I'm not entirely sure how a wooden crate will not burn up in lava. That's kind of weird, but we'll go with it. It's Nintendo. And then we get an inclusion of the warp blocks, and now they work just like the doors do in the other game styles, except for when you go through the warp block, it disappears and you're kind of trapped in the room until you defeat whatever's in there, and maybe you like it unveils a key or something. But not only are there warp blocks, but there's something else that Nintendo did not talk about that's in this video as well. There is another inclusion of a box with a keyhole in it. So I'm guessing if you make a room where it's like a boss battle, in order to escape from that room, you have to defeat the boss. The boss drops the key, and then you use that to on the key block door, and then you'll warp to another spot. It's kind of Super Mario 3D World's version of the doors from the other style, so I don't know if the doors are going to be still in it. I'm guessing they're in addition to the doors, and kind of work the same way as normal doors and locked doors work in the other game styles. And we got to look at a new item called the spike block, an octagon shaped block that have a bunch of holes in it, and Mario can walk on them. After a small amount of time, their spikes come out, and you have to jump off of them before the spikes come out, otherwise they will harm Mario. And not only can you have them by themselves, but you can also combine them with the on and off switches. One set that are red will be on while the blue ones are off, and then once you hit the block, it works exactly how the blocks work, except they're blocked with spikes, which is terrifying. We get another look at the exclamation point block where you hit it, it makes huge blocks, and they showed off that if you ground pound the block, and you can make it grow really, really fast as well. And then one of my favorite additions that they decided to add from the Mario series are the blinking blocks. Now, they work just like the on and off switches, except instead of hitting a switch, after about 3 seconds, you hear 3 little beeps, and after the third beep, it switches from red to blue, and then from blue to red. They are really fun. Some of my most favorite levels from Super Mario 3D World, and I even think they added them in 3D Mario games as well, were the levels that had the blinking blocks. So this is really cool that they added those, and you can add those with addition to the on and off switches and stuff too. So I can see the entire level just with a bunch of switches and blinking blocks, and it would be a crazy, crazy level to play on. And this the next one, we get a look at a new item called the track block, where it works exactly like the snake blocks, except it's one giant block that's red, and you can make it go in whatever direction you want. And not only is there a red one, but there is also a blue one. We're seeing a common theme here with red and blue. The red one moves whether Mario is on it or not, but the blue one stays in its starting position until Mario jumps on it, and then it moves in the direction that you want it to go. But also in the scene with the red block, we also see our first look, the Fire Brothers, small one on the left, and then we see a larger one on the right. So the larger ones are back as well. Another new item exclusive to the Super Mario 3D World is the Mushroom Trampoline, which is a really awesome addition, and that's going to make for some really fun levels. And again, another look at the Piranha Creeper. They're the normal pink ones that move in the direction that you build them, but there are also the blue ones, which I speculated, that kind of extend all the way out, and they just sit there until Mario slams on its head. So there's 2 different variants of the Piranha Plant Creeper. And we get another look at Skip Squeak in action. Now, when they're on a normal platform, they just kind of stand still. But just like they are in Super Mario 3D World, if you put them on a conveyor belt, they will run on those standing in the same spot, and they will mimic Mario. When he jumps, they will jump. So you can use those, as they indicated in this trailer, to have a puzzle. So I'm guessing the items will go back and forth or bounce off of them. And when he jumps, the item goes through and Mario can collect the mushroom. So you can use those for little puzzle elements as well. And then we get our first look at the biggest mystery from Super Mario Maker, the Koopa Troopa car. Apparently Nintendo loved what people created in the first game, where they make their own Mario Kart levels, and they decided to go full force into it and make a little car in the game. Koopa Troopa has it, and Mario has to jump on the Koopa Troopa to get rid of them, and Mario jumps in it, and then it looks like it just goes automatically, and you probably keep it until you hit something or you fall off. I can see a lot of people make some really awesome Mario Kart courses with that car, so that's really exciting that it's there, and it makes it a lot easier to make those kind of levels. You don't have to just use the amiibos anymore. So a lot of people are going to have fun with that, including myself. And then we get a look at an enemy from the game 3D World as well, called Charvard, and he works just like you expect he would. He jumps in and out of the lava, and Mario can kind of go underneath him when he's in air. You don't have to have him just in the lava levels. He can, just like the icicles, you can intermix it between the different styles, so he can be in the ice levels as well. So there's really no limit to where you can put these guys from what it looks like. Not only did they include Boom Boom in the game, but they decided to add Pom Pom as well. And she acts just like she does in Super Mario 3D World, where she kind of splits into her little doppelgangers with her shurikens, and you have to pounce on the real one. It's painfully obvious which one's the real one, but it's cool that they still added that to make it a little bit more chaotic. And I'm wondering if you had a boss battle with her and Boom Boom and Bowser, that's going to make it for a really difficult fight. It makes you wonder if they're going to add more of the Koopalings as well, besides Boom Boom and Pom Pom. It seems weird that they only added those two and not all the others. So I'm kind of anticipating that they're going to add every single one of the Koopalings. And we get another look at the Bonsai build. Like I said previously, you can change them in any direction, but in the Super Mario 3D World, you can make them come out from the back and kind of hit you from the front, so you can have ones that go from the side and from the front to make for some very dangerous levels. We get our first look at the Super Mario 3D World style of the ghosts with the little smiley faces, and we see the green block from Super Mario 3D World that has this teeth, but you can jump on them to get a little extra boost, so it's kind of like 3D World's version of the spring. And we also see what looks to be bonsai builds with ears. I don't know if they work any different from the normal bonsai build. They just have little ears on them. And we also get our first look at Meowser in action, where he blows fire, and he can also climb just like he did in the game. And to follow Cat Mario, he can recreate the final boss battle from Super Mario 3D World in Super Mario Maker 2 if we want, which is really exciting. It'd be kind of cool to have a level with Meowser and Bowser in it, unless Meowser takes the place of Bowser. I'm thinking that that's what it's going to be. I don't think you can have Meowser and Bowser at the same time, but it'd be really cool if you could intermix the two and have them both as a boss fight in the same level. And we get to the Nintendo Switch Online portion of the trailer, where they show us in detail something that we wanted from the Super Mario Maker game that's going to help us out a lot and help people find our levels. Now you can search levels by not only typing in their ID, but you can also search them for them by game style, course theme, difficulty, region, and the different tags. They added that to the original Mario Maker only on the website, but it's kind of nice that they added it in-game now. That way you don't have to mess with going on the computer or a smartphone in order to do that. So I love that they added this to the game. And we also see that comments are once again back in the Mario levels, which is a nice welcome addition, because I love getting feedback from everybody. So you can put a pre-generated comment in the level, and you can also draw your own as well. And you can also comment on the level itself to give your feedback. And on a surprising note, not only can you once again like the level by giving it a heart, but you can also boo the level by having a broken heart, which is kind of I don't know why Nintendo decided to put that in there. Nintendo decided to add maker profiles, where you can customize your Mii any way you want, and you get maker points by beating certain levels, and you have a versus rating as well. The more maker points you get, I guess, by completing levels and completing different objectives, you'll get these points, and you can use the points to get costumes in game, which is a nice touch. So it's really cool that you can now fully customize your Mii, and I love that they added it to the game. And Nintendo decided to replace the 100 Mario challenge with the addition of the Endless challenge. You go through through randomly generated levels, and you start off with 5 lives, and you have to go as far as you can into endless mode and see how many levels you can get through. I kind of like that they changed this because 100 Mario challenge got a little boring after a while, but they also made 1-ups a little more important. So you definitely, if you see a 1-up in a level, you want to collect it, and you can only get up to 3 in each level, again, just like the first game. And you also see at the end that they added leaderboards, so if you make it really, really far, it'll give you a global rank. That way you can compare to other people. I love that they added leaderboards to levels. That way, not only can you beat a level, but see if you can beat it the fastest, because they have the fastest speed times returning once again as well. And then we see a brand new addition to Super Mario Maker 2. Now we can play levels together with our friends or with random people online through 1 to 4 players. You can play as Mario, Luigi, Blue Toad, and instead of having a yellow Toad, they decided to add Toadette, which I think is a better character to add rather than just 2 different colored Toads. So that's nice. And there's 2 different modes that you can do. You can do one that's called Versus, where you race each other to the finish, which is going to be the most fun that I think a lot of people are going to have with Super Mario Maker 2. And you can also do co-op. You work together to get to the end of the level, and the first one to finish wins it for everybody, which is really, really cool. And I guess when you play Versus, it will also be ranked, a new ranking system they added to the game, kind of motivate you to win against everyone that you play against, which is really, really cool. So I can see a lot of streamers, a lot of people playing this mode, and this will give the game a lot more longevity in the future. And I think after a lot of people get done making levels, they'll be probably stuck playing Endless Challenge or online with friends. So this is super exciting. The best addition that they got added to the game. And I also noticed too, when you die, you auto respawn instead of just backing out of the level like you did in the last game. So it's very fast, very fluent. You get right back to the action. You don't have to go into the bubble like you did in the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, because I'm guessing a lot of people, they probably figured that a lot of people are not going to pop up your bubble because they want to beat you. So instead of doing that, they just have you respawn, probably back to the beginning or back to the nearest checkpoint. Probably going to make people want to screw up other players as much as possible. That way they can get to the end first. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for multiplayer. Definitely the best addition and the biggest surprise that we've had in this trailer thus far. In this next scene here, you see the circle of boos that have wings, but in the last game, wherever you place them in the level, they'll just sit there and spin. But I noticed here that they're kind of moving towards Mario, and the only way to do that in the last game was to put them on rails, and then when you had to put them on rails, then they went after Mario, or as far as the rails went. But I do not see rails in this screenshot, so I'm wondering if maybe the rails are going to be invisible now, or you can make them invisible. That way your whole level's not cluttered with a bunch of rails everywhere. So that'd be kind of cool if you can hide the rails, make them invisible, but still have things moving in your levels, and that way the character doesn't really know and won't know the path of which they take, which will make for some really interesting and scary levels. And I'm kind of hoping that's what it is. It could be also that because they have wings on the boos, maybe the wings will give them freedom to move forward. That was a really cool little tidbit that I had to point out. And that will do it for all the things that I saw that were new in this trailer, guys. If you saw anything that I have missed, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more Mario Maker 2 videos in the future, you know what to do. Drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. And look forward to more Super Mario Maker 2 videos in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.